good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. In fact, where are you in the world? Today, we are going to be talking about the metaverse. Like, what the heck is the metaverse anyway? That's one of the biggest questions I get, and frankly, it's my number one question. I'm like, what is the metaverse? And more specifically, how does it matter in the context of our businesses? Like, is it something we need to know about? Is it something we need to pay attention to? Or, and this is the biggie, is do we need to implement it in our business in some way? What is the dealio? So that is what our special guest is going to bring to us today. Mitch, I've known Mitch for a long time. He is an attorney in the state of California. Has been super helpful to me over the years. We met initially on Periscope, and then he started to really embrace this metaverse space. And so I was like, I'm going to invite him to come on and share what he knows. So not only has he been embracing this, but he's wrote a book about it, which I'm going to tell you a little bit more about in just a second. But as you guys are coming in, let me know, where in the world are you? How is the weather where you are? So I was just telling Mitch that I spent the last week in Vegas, and it was a little nippy there, but I was expecting that. I live in Florida. Most of you know that, in Tampa, Florida. And so when it gets cold here, it's cold. So it was like 41 here this morning, which is chilly for us, seriously chilly. Now, by the time the afternoon gets here, we might be in the 60s, but like even that's chilly. I have to have my hoodie on for sure. So a couple of quick things before we bring our special guest in and we start finding out what the metaverse is all about. We love to love around here, and we love to share the love. So I really work hard to bring amazing people to the show so that you can learn and figure out if this matters to you, whatever the topic is of the week. If you know someone who it might need to know what in the daylights is the metaverse, then feel free to sprinkle this out into your communities, tag someone, whatever makes the most sense for you. But this is going to be a very powerful conversation. I'm excited to have Mitch with us today. Hey, Nancy, so good to see you. Let's see, we have Robin in the house from Southern California. It's warm and sunny. I'm a little bit jealous. It's hard to believe that, that we are not warm as well here in Florida. We have Martha from Bonita Springs. Hey, Martha. And yeah, right. It's definitely burr here, which I know it's all relative because people are, in really cold places, and here I am whining, but hey. So make sure you, again, sprinkle this out. If you have questions as we go, please feel free to ask them. I do have a lot of questions myself and they're probably similar to some of yours. But if you have a question, please feel free to ask them. We'll try to answer as many questions as we possibly can. Another thing, we always do giveaways on every show. So this week, we're going to be giving away, yes, 2 of the brand new book that I was just telling you about that Mitch has wrote, which is the Metaverse Handbook, How to Create, Market, and Sell in a Virtual World. So 2 of those to 2 lucky winners today. The way you win. Let's talk about that real quick. For those of you that are oldies that have been coming to the show, you know the deal. But if you're new and never been on one of my shows before, 2 quick things. If you're new, never been here before, don't have a clue who I am, let me introduce myself, and I'd love it if you do the same. My name is Kim Garst. I'm an online business strategist. I just love helping people make more money in their business. If that's something you are interested in, specifically if you are a coach, a consultant, a service provider, a course creator, feel free to join our Facebook group. That's a great place for you to connect with us. That's kimgarst.com/Unleashed, Experts Unleashed. I'm sorry. So feel free to join that group. But anyway, going back to my point, I got deviated there a little bit. If you're new, type in #new. If you want to win the prize today, share your aha moments with a hashtag aha down under. Okay. So what's an aha moment? An aha moment is where you literally like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. Or you know it, but you needed to hear it again. Sometimes they're a combination of things. And if you sprinkle this out into the world, we will enter you into the wheel of wow. That's what we call the winner's wheel, several times so that you get more chances to win. So that's how you have an opportunity to win today's giveaway. So hopefully that explained the aha moments. Paul, it's so good to see you. He has already got it down. Aha, great book to win. So that's how you enter to win the goodies today. Okay. So, all right. So let me tell you a little bit about my sweet friend, Mitch Jackson. Mitch is as I told you before, he's an attorney. He's an award-winning 2013 California Litigation Lawyer of the Year, 2009 Orange County Trial Lawyer of the Year. So that just means, y'all, he is got it going on. He enjoys helping and adding value to consumers and clients who are doing great things in the digital dance at the intersection of law, business, and technology relating to the metaverse and Web 3.0. Yeah, can you believe we're in Web 3.0? It seems like we just got introduced to Web 2.0, and here we are. In addition to speaking several times at Tony Robbins' business mastery events before audiences of thousands of people, he's also known as the best in the world at lawyers using social media. He is a consulting expert to the book Shame Nation, written by Sue Sheff, with the foreword by Monica Lewinsky, and a contributing author to the California Continuing Board of the Bar. Bar's Effective Introduction to Evidence in California, Chapter 54, Electronic and Social Media Evidence. But like I said, he's also got a brand new book called the Metaverse Handbook. So he has got it going on. I want you guys to put your hands together for my sweet friend, Mitch Jackson. Hey, Mitch.
Wow, what the dealio. I'm so excited. I didn't know you were giving away my book. That is so nice of you. Why don't we get things started?
Yes.
Let's jump right in, right? It's good to see you, Kim, especially here in the metaverse. How are you this morning?
I'm really good. How are you?
I am doing fine in real life and in the digital metaverse virtual reality world. This is going to be an exciting show.
It is.
These are my VR goggles. That is the key to everything we're talking about. I'm looking forward to today's show.
So I'm going to ask that question further down, like what the heck are those, and do we look like that in the metaverse? But for now, we'll get there, okay? Because some of you may be thinking, what just happened?
I get that a lot when I walk into a room, especially the courtroom. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Q&A, Kim, and whatever we can do to kind of open up the door and share this new opportunity with everyone. It'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. But for those who don't have a clue, who don't understand what even the term means, what is the metaverse? Like, let's just start there. What is it? So before you answer that question, though, I want to just say this real quick. And for because I feel like there's probably others who thought this too. So when Facebook, for those of you who know, maybe some don't, Facebook has rebranded their business and they named it Meta. And when they came out with that, I was expecting something like, I knew they were going to rebrand, but I didn't like wrap my head around what it would be. And then when they came out with Meta, I was like, what is this? Now it all makes sense.
Yeah, it's interesting. So let me answer your question, and let me just say good morning to Rhonda. It's good to see you again, Rhonda, and Nancy. Good to see you too, and some other mutual friends that are watching on all the platforms, right? Share this out, everybody. Let's get everybody we know, all the people that we care about in our lives, in the metaverse. And there's a good reason why. So first of all, when I look at the metaverse, I look at it as a virtual extension of what we're doing in real life. So for me as a lawyer, what we're doing is we're using VR, virtual reality, to meet with clients, to meet with expert witnesses, to meet with opposing counsel in private conference rooms, in large conference facility centers to interact, to engage at that next level. It's basically what your life is offline. You can bring that into a virtual 3D environment. Facebook and Meta are not the metaverse, and a lot of people are mistaken about that. The metaverse, as I use the term, is simply an online platform. It's an online platform that can be created by a particular company, or it can be created or decentralized by multiple companies and multiple people. So I look at it as, Kim, the metaverse for me is, for example, I live in Southern California. If I wanted to drive to Northern California, there are a couple of ways I could drive there. I could take highway number 1, Pacific Coast Highway, and follow the highway up the coast, go through LA, Santa Barbara, Carmel, Monterey, all the way up to San Francisco. It's a beautiful coastline, curvy trip. And there's a lot of art galleries, a lot of great restaurants on the way from Southern California to Northern California. That could be metaverse number 1. I could take highway number 5 all the way up through Central California. It's a straight shot. It's the fastest way to get from Southern California to Northern California, but I'm going to get there in less time. There's less scenery, but it's a shorter drive. I want you to think about both of those highways as different metaverses. In fact, you might want to call them microverses. Each one offers a different experience. Each one offers a different result depending on if you're using it for business, for pleasure, or for gaming. So for me, that's what the metaverse is a different platform to simply extend your in real life activities to a virtual platform in 3D. Along the way, depending on the car that you drive, okay, some people may drive this car. Some people may not use that car at all. You can access most of the platforms we're going to talk about on your laptop, your desktop, on your phone in 2D. So you don't need a headset to access the metaverse, although it does increase the usability and effectiveness of the metaverse, I'd say by a factor of about 95%. It's a huge difference. Kim, if you and I were in the same metaverse conference room, we'd feel like we were standing right next to each other. We would reach out and we can knuckle bump each other. We can share pictures, photos, and objects in real time. You could hand the book to me and we could page through and look at different pages or chapters in the book. So there's different metaverses, which I like to call microverses, and there are different ways that you can use these platforms. So that's the short answer from a business, non-technical point of view as to why these platforms are so, important. When you say social media, we're thinking Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, right?
Yeah.
TikTok. Okay, those all could be separate metaverses. You could use that analogy.
Okay, so now that begs so many other questions.
Good.
Okay, so I'm just looking at this through, their experiences. Who creates the experience? Like, do we if we don't need a headset, for example, or a VR, I guess VR set, I guess is best way with virtual reality, which is an immersive experience. How do we get into the metaverse? Maybe that's that's a great question.
Sure.
How do we get into the metaverse?
Years ago, you had to be a coder or know someone to help you get into these 3D virtual reality spaces. In today's world, it's as easy as me sending you, Kim, a link to hop on Zoom or a link to hop on this Restream Studio. I share a link out, my client or you click the link, and if you've got a headset, you can join me in the environment that I've set up. So what everyone wants to think about doing is there's 2 or 3 platforms that I really recommend for business. I'm not using the metaverse to game, although it's a great place to game. I'm not looking at being in a metaverse, Kim, where everyone looks like a Lego and people are running around pulling on your digital legs, trying to get your attention, little kids and things like this. I'm using the metaverse for business. I'm using the metaverse to add value to my clients and my communities. So there are three platforms that I think give that initial good first impression. One is spatial.io. I'm using that platform to help clients of mine that are creators and artists. And you go into spatial.io by clicking a link that you would receive from me or from someone else, And you immediately, instead of going into a Zoom, you go into the spatial environment. And in each of the environments we're going to be talking about, you can pick an art gallery, you can pick a private conference room, you can pick a beautiful lodge up in the mountains, you can pick a presentation facility, which is what I use all the time, that looks like we're standing outside in Sedona, Arizona. Beautiful graphics. It's the type of environment that I would invite a high-paying client in to join me for a one-on-one or a 1 to 50 presentation. So I create the environment, the user of the platform creates the environment, and then sends a link out or sends an invitation out through, for example, Oculus, that you can click on and join. The other two environments that I really enjoy using are engagevr.io. Once again, engagevr.io. You click in, you have a beautiful conference room with laptop screens in front of you, a big board to the side where you can project YouTube videos, PowerPoint presentations, anything I can present on the big board, I can present in front of each participant at the conference table. I can click a button and take everybody over into a large Tony Robbins type of conference facility, which is amazing. Or we can click a button and I can take clients into a virtual courtroom where they walk into the courtroom and it looks like they're walking into a courtroom down the aisle with the witness stand over to their right, with the jury box over to the left, and the judge in front of them. And I can show them what a courtroom looks like. I can put them on the witness stand and ask them questions. So that's the second platform I use. The third platform I recommend everybody take a look at is Horizon Workrooms. Horizon Workrooms is a virtual reality environment where, Kim, you and I are sitting at our desk, just like we are right now. And we log into this platform and we can use our keyboard that's in front of us, our desktop or laptop that's in front of us on our real desk appears in the virtual reality office, and we can sit across from clients, we can give presentations. It's an amazing platform that is in beta, so it's not as easy to use as spatial.io or engagevr.io, but it's a platform that allows you to have your office in the virtual space. And I think, Kim, just knowing you, I see you using the Horizon Workrooms to meet with clients and do private consultations or in-house meetings with your team. And then I see you hopping on stage either in engagevr.io or spatial.io to give those keynotes that really many of us first met you and watched you do. And that's what connected you and I from day one. So there's something for everyone, depending on what your goals are, depending on how you want to connect with your clients. And by the way, you and I both know connecting with our clients and our customers is the most important thing. There's something.
Sorry.
There's no, I was going to say there's something intimate about professionally about meeting in virtual reality, Kim. It's like you and I are standing or sitting across from each other and having a conversation. And for me, that's what closed the deal for it. Once I picked up these, once I spend a couple hours figuring things out, I'm like, not only am I all in, but I need to take everything I've learned and put it together in an easy to read and understand book so that you don't need to be a coder or a tech geek to understand this terminology.
Yes.
If you can use email, if you can use Zoom, if you can use Restream, you can definitely build your brand in the metaverse.
This is so fascinating to me on so many levels. It kind of, some of the things you just said remind me of the early days of live video, that feeling of connection, right? But it sounds like this is even more intimate because, with live video, like you and I are talking, and everybody else is listening and or engaging and can engage right back to it with us. But with this virtual reality or the metaverse, there's a whole other layer of intimacy that seems to be coming because I'm like standing right next to one another and having that conversation. So, okay. So what do we look?
Can I say something real quick? One of the reasons, Kim, is right now you and I see each other. We see each other's faces.
Yes.
Two of the three platforms I just mentioned allow us to use our webcam or phone, and it uses AI to put our face on the avatar's body.
Well, that was what I was getting ready to ask.
Okay, so I'm looking at you in these platforms. Yeah, I'm looking at Kim Garst, and you pick the outfit. And for example, we started at 7 a.m. Monday morning here in Southern California. I have court at 8:15 this morning, which is why I've got this outfit on, which I don't like to wear. And we're appearing by Zoom, and that's what the judges required us to do. Having said that, I could be in my running gear right now and click into the metaverse, okay? And nobody's going to know the difference. They're not going to know that I didn't shave or comb my hair, or I've still got sweat on my running shirt, right? And there's an advantage. I think that's why social audio is so powerful, and a lot of people gravitated to social audio because you just pop on and it's you. Metaverse is very similar. So I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted you to know that our faces are on the bodies.
I think that is super interesting, because that was my thing. I was like, do we create avatars? Are we fake, or do we show up real? That was just one of my questions. So
yeah,
and maybe
show
a
up
combination.
real.
Yeah,
Show up real. I mean, you want to present your best first impression depending on the circumstances. So I like to be transparent and real.
Show up real, but without the sweaty shirt.
Look at, well, unless you're doing a workout video, right? Gail Robertson, who's a friend of mine, said, she's been in the metaverse with me. And that's what we did is we use these avatars along with, I think, 10 or 15 other people. And we have meetups each week. So people that aren't used to the metaverse, Kim, I like to jump in when my calendar allows and bring people in. I'd say 80% of the people are joining me from their phone, their laptop, or desktop because they don't have an Oculus browser or some other compatible browser, but it's a great way to kind of dip your toe in the digital sandbox. And this sandbox, Kim, when you look at the zeros, I'm a businessman, okay? I'm a business person. When I look at how much money companies are putting into different metaverse and virtual reality platforms, we're talking tens of billions of dollars. When I look at all the major brands coming into these platforms, you don't have to be the brightest bulb in the lamp to realize there's something to this. And we can either get on the train and enjoy the ride, or we can be left back at the station. I am on the train in the front seat. So
so interesting that you said this, because I just did an interview with Jessica Phillips on her show not long ago, and we talked about some of the real life examples of how people are actually leveraging VR, or AKA the metaverse is a bigger term here. And she was talking about some of the ways that her clients were using it and integrating it into their business. And one of those was more like a guide. Like, think about it. Traditionally we've looked at these things like sci-fi, like you see like Star Wars, where you walk, or I don't know if Star Wars is a good example, but you'll understand as I articulate, you walk up and there's this little holographic person that directs you to a specific book in the library, or whatever.
Right.
It's been one of those things that traditionally we have like thought was beyond reach, and now all of a sudden it is here. So my question to you is this, like in the context of the average business owner, how is this going to matter in, like, if I'm a coach, how can I use the metaverse to serve my people better at a deeper level?
Great question. I mean, everything that we do, Kim, has to do with creating a better client experience. Okay. That's what my firm's all about. And that's what separates us from everyone else. I know most successful business owners strive for the same thing. So let's go back in time to when the printing press first rolled out in the 1600s, how that changed communication. Fast forward to electricity, for good or bad, changing the world, the telegraph, the automobile. Fast forward to web browsers and the internet. For those of us my age, I used to log onto the internet before web browsers came along, having to do some coding. And then that gets you into what we now know as the internet. Well, when web browsers came along, the World Wide Web became available to anybody that could point and click or do a little bit of tapping on their keyboard. Fast forward to social media, which brought us together as a global community. Let me just say that here today, where we are right now with the digital platforms and metaverse and VR, because you can just click and enter, everything I just talked about, to put things into perspective, I think what we're looking at, Kim, is the metaverse is 100x everything that I just mentioned. When I say metaverse, I'm talking about Web3 technology, also things like NFTs, things like smart contracts on the blockchain. Everything's changing. So to answer your question, this is what happens when you ask a lawyer a question. Okay, I'm going to answer your question, but I had to drag it out as long as I could. So to answer your question is what we're doing is we're simply offering this as an additional option for a client. They can communicate and engage with us by phone, in real life, if it's safe to do so, taking social distancing into consideration, fax, email, text, private message, direct message on the social platforms, Zooms, live videos through our phone, through texting, which I'm very keen on, or now if they'd like to have a meeting in the metaverse in our virtual office, which we rolled out on January 1st, that's an option too. And I think clients really appreciate having the different options. This really resonated for me when it rained about 3 weeks ago in Southern California. It never rains in Southern California. And that drive from Los Angeles to Orange County, that 45-minute drive turns into like a 4-hour nightmare with bumper to bumper rush hour traffic. We had 4 different clients reach out to us before 7 in the morning. We want to reschedule. Is there another way that I can meet with Mr. Jackson? And so we, of course, phone, everything I just mentioned. 2 of the clients took us up on our virtual office option. We could hop on a Zoom, or if you don't mind, we can send you a link and we can meet in our virtual conference room. And the clients were like, that sounds kind of interesting. Let's give it a try. One of the clients was interviewing law firms to hire for a big case. Within 30 seconds of being in this virtual room, Kim, the client interrupted me, just like I've been interrupting you, and I don't mean to do that, and said, Mitch, this is amazing. You're our guy. So just having a virtual office space resulted in a large client retaining us on a case where they were interviewing a bunch of different law firms. So I think from a marketing and branding point of view, by stepping into these virtual spaces and creating a virtual presence, I think it allows you to stand out above all the noise. I think it allows you to easily and quickly, differentiate your brand as somebody that's an innovator, an adopter of new technology. You're always trying to put the client's best interest first. I think there's some business and marketing and branding elements to what we're talking about. And I didn't mention the platforms that I'm using, spatial.io. I'm using the free version. Okay, it's amazing. The engaged VR.io, I think I'm spending $5 a month to set up our virtual office space. And the Horizon Workrooms are free in beta also. So these are not expensive things to get involved with. The Oculus Quest 2, which is my recommendation, everybody, they're less than $300. It's probably one of the best investments other than the original fax machine back in the early 80s. And the iPhone that we've made at the law firm. We picked up 10 of them, Kim. And so when tech clients come in, it's kind of a marketing and branding thing because most of them are already set up with headgear, but we offer a headset. So if they'd like to continue the conversation in VR when they leave the office, this is for you. And frankly, I'm not worried about getting them back. It's the best investment I can make in a client. But once again, it gives people something to talk about. Like, you're not going to believe what I just experienced with my lawyer. So there's a lot of elements to the metaverse as to why we should all get involved.
One of the things that I think as an educator, because I do count myself as an educator, because I try one of my biggest passions really is shortening the learning curve, to help people, take what I know or strategies and things and take them into their businesses. But I think that the education space, the online education space, is in a major pivot, and it's just all the traditional things are I hate to say dead, but they're done. They're like done like dinner. And, to
Why
your
is that?
point,
Why is that?
It's because we're not engaging people at the levels that I think we need to, and or we're not giving them a unique experience. That's really what I want, and that's why I think the metaverse is going to be such a powerful thing, specifically in the education space too. Like for those of you who have training knowledge that you want to, share with and give a unique experience to people, like if you're a coach or a consultant, or even, if you're a service provider and you want to meet with clients in a unique, like just exactly like Mitch just outlined.
It's like
look,
here's the thing.
Blows their mind.
The stars are in alignment because what we've been through the last couple of years with social distancing and remote working, what we've realized, and you may not know this, Kim, but I had the pleasure of jumping on stage in a large virtual event, probably one of the largest in the legal community. Guess who I was following? I was following Seth Godin. He did the final keynote that morning, and I was next up on stage. So that's a tough act to follow,
That's a
right?
tough act to follow, for
But
sure.
I got to listen to Seth and Jack Newton, the founder of Clio, talk about before the pandemic, the legal profession was at the bottom of 17 important legal sectors. Okay. But a year and a half into the pandemic, the legal profession was towards the top. In other words, quickly adopting all of this technology for obvious reasons, because this is what we needed to do. What we're now seeing is that the consumers expecting business owners to be digital friendly. In fact, if you're not building out a digital brand, if you're not allowing digital access to interact and provide your services, clients are going to have the wrong impression as to who, maybe they'll have the right impression that you're not up to speed on what you should be doing. So the consumer is not only, they have the mindset of they're expecting this, number one. Number two, you're helping build your brand by offering this. And then most importantly, number three, by allowing consumers to pick how they interact with your products and services, you're providing an exemplary client experience. And I think that's the most important takeaway. That's why one of the most important chapters in my book, Kim, is how to communicate and make your point in the metaverse. Because what happens is I see a lot of people show up, and I know a lot of these people, they're brilliant speakers. They show up and their avatar is just kind of sitting there in the metaverse, everybody. And it's just kind of, you're kind of like this, right? And it's kind of a very awkward thing. And so I talk about using your space, using your avatar, working the room, moving from point A to point B, using your hands, because when you use your hands in the metaverse, that's what your avatar is doing. Use your facial expressions, because believe it or not, with Oculus, when I speak in these platforms, my lips are moving. You can see my cheeks and my eyes. Using graphics and videos, and clicking on your tablet and bringing up in front of you, for example, if we're talking about my book, Kim, I can click a button, bring the book up in front of us. So now it's floating and we can rotate it, or I can put it up on the screen. So there are all types of ways to use visual, complement your oral conversations with visual presentations, whether they're objects, whether they're photos, whether they're live streaming of websites within the VR platforms that help you communicate and persuade better. And that's something we all need to pay attention to. Showing up's not enough.
Yeah. Amen. Yes. I think we have to start. And so I'm super excited about this. And
you're going to kill it.
Honestly, as soon as this afternoon, I'm probably ordering me an Oculus. I'm serious.
Good.
I feel like I needed to do this. I have an old set somewhere, like my friend Kathy Hackle. You probably know Kathy.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Way back, like, I don't even know, 2 or 3 years ago, she really started stepping into this space and she gave me a set. So maybe they would be okay. But anyway, so yeah, but I'm excited about this.
Get the new ones. Get the new ones because they're wireless and they're fast and they're compatible with everything we're talking about.
All right. So we had a great question from Robin.
A lot of good questions.
Yes. How many people can attend your virtual meeting? Is there a maximum number?
Well, there are, depending on your plan. So it's kind of like a Zoom, depending on your plan. If you're on a free plan, I think spatial.io has a limit of 20 to 50 in their auditorium type of environments. I know Engage VR, I think that number is also 20 or 30, depending on your plan. So if you're having a large event where you're expecting thousands of people, these platforms will allow you to do that. You just reach out and make the appropriate accommodations. So what's also cool, Kim, is you and I are on stage and we're doing a presentation, right? And we've got 500 people in the audience. This technology allows you to control your audience, just like Zoom. So we can click a button, have everybody take a seat, because people are going to be running around, playing around with their avatars, especially the new users. It's kind of fun to watch, but we can have everybody take the seat. Their attention is focused automatically to us on stage and the big screen behind us. We can use what's called spatial audio, so that when you and I are speaking on stage, we can have the audio of anybody speaking in the audience be limited to 2 feet, so they can talk to each other, but nobody else can hear their conversation. So there's just a lot of really cool tweaks I talk about in the book that I think help give a better experience, whether you're on stage or whether you're in the audience.
Well, what you just said leads to Vicky's question. How secure are these platforms? So if you're to her point, you're a lawyer, a doctor, and people are sharing confidential information with you. is that secure? That's a great question.
It is a great question. So the security issue when it comes to digital and social, my response would be, how secure is it in a traditional conference room or office where you see people leaving files or envelopes on the desk? I don't think it's a very secure environment in real life. And I think that with not only social media and digital, but with the virtual spaces, with the metaverses that we're talking about, these single platforms, there are different features. For example, I could have a public conference room where everyone here could join me on Wednesday night, and we could have a roundtable Q&A with follow-up questions. And I'll probably do something like that, Kim, sometime this week. So follow my Twitter feed, everybody, for links. But or I can have it private to my team, my company, password protected. It just depends on how you adjust the settings when you're creating your event. What we sometimes do, Kim, is I'll be in a public conversation or presentation room, and I'm thinking spatial.io, and then I'll transport, after speaking with team members of a company, I'll transport the CEO into a private conference room with me. So it's just the CEO and yours truly to finalize the deal. So it's like anything else. You want to be careful with what you say in a public environment, but once you're over in a private environment, I'm very comfortable with what we talk about and what we do.
So good, so good. And there was, hang on, there was one other question. This is a great question too. Again, from Vicky, she says, how much prep time is required in advance to set up and show up on a platform? So I'm speculating, but let me just, because I feel like, again, I want to know these things too. So I'm assuming when you log into, like, one of these platforms, there's some options to choose from an environment perspective. Like you say, okay, I want a small meeting by the ocean, or I want an office setup, or whatever. They have some pre-designed spaces. Is that a good assumption? So that you don't have to create it yourself?
They do. They have beautiful. Look,
Yes.
I have the bar pretty high in life as far as the impression I want to give my clients.
Yeah.
They have beautiful spaces where you're proud to be in these conference rooms or offices. So, Kim, let me ask you a question. When you're giving a big keynote to a large organization, how much time do you prepare for that keynote?
Usually quite a bit, because you have to get your presentation done, you have to refine it, you have to practice a little bit, right?
Right.
But I don't have to worry about the environment. I just show up. Like, I don't have to worry about putting the seats in the auditorium, or any of those types of things. So I'm assuming that was my point, is that you don't have to have you don't have to create the space. You just have to show up with and deliver whatever it is, your goodies, right?
Yeah, it depends on what's happening. So the point I was trying to make is, if you're giving a big keynote on a new topic to a large organization, you're probably going to spend hours to get ready. And I think for the large presentations in the virtual reality spaces, you still need to put in the time to get ready to deliver, just like you were standing in front of a board of directors in a conference room, or on stage in front of a large event. So the preparation time, I think, is still important. Having said that, in literally less than 30 seconds, this is what blows everybody's mind, especially if you connect with some of my spaces in the metaverse. You can click and create your office, your conference room, your stage. Okay. That's super fast, even in the free versions. Now, if I was meeting with Kim in a private conference room and I wanted to close a deal with her, I would take, or have my team take, a few minutes, and I would bring in her logos and put them up on the wall. I would bring in maybe a video that she just shot that I was impressed about, and I would put that up on the wall, because you can stream. Think of a painting up on a wall that's actually a video. I would create an environment so that when Kim was transported into the room with me, when she clicks that link, like you do when you go into a Zoom, she's walking into a customized office space that's highlighting her topic. It's highlighting her project that she's seeing a lawyer about. It's all about her. I'm going to knock her socks off. And so, Kim, when we talk about how much time does it take, even customizing a room to accommodate a particular client only takes a couple of minutes if you have the photos, the items, and the objects that you want to have as part of that experience. So I think, like anything else, you get out of it what you put into it. but it's simple. It's actually easier for me to use than Zoom, if that resonates with anybody, to put things into perspective.
Yeah, that I think that's very impactful in since so many of us are zoomed out. We've been,
Big
in COVID
time.
times, like we've had
Say that
so
again. Say that again.
we are
Say that
zoomed
again.
out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So what do we offer them?
We offer them an alternative, right? Which is the metaverse. There's so many amazing things I think that we could use. One of the questions that we had, I saw come through a moment ago, and I think you've already answered it, but I feel like a lot of people might not have understood the answer.
Mhm.
Is do you have to have a headset, an Oculus headset, or any other VR headset to participate in
Right. Good
a
question.
metaverse space?
Great question. And the answer is no, you don't. But yes, you should. And what I mean by that is the reason we selected spatial.io, engagevr.io, is because our clients or third parties can join us using their phone, their tablet, their laptop, or their desktop. They're joining just like they would in a 2D Zoom environment. Having said that, by including a headset into the formula, it creates almost a magical experience that is, in my opinion, 95% better. And once you try a headset and get comfortable with what we're talking about, what you'll find is from this point forward, you're going to be sitting at your desk. You're always going to have this sitting next to you, so you can just pop it on, and in 30 seconds, you're in that virtual environment. So the answer is no, you don't need a headset. Neither do your attendees. Spatial.io came out and said about 80% of the 70% of the people using their platform are not using a virtual reality headset.
Mm.
Interesting statistic.
Very interesting statistic. And it makes sense if you think about it in the context of, one, people might not want to invest until they know it's something they're going to do routinely, right? That's totally, and there, again, from my mindset, I would be like, yeah, I'm not sure. Do I want to do that? So I don't know if I want to invest in it. Or they're just at a tech level where they're just not sure if that's for them yet. So there's lots of different, I think, reasons that people might not have invested in their own headset yet. In fact, it's kind of like if you liken it back to the early days of just getting laptops or cell phones, like
Mm.
even more specifically, even a cell phone, like how many people drug their feet on cell phones and now we can't live without them. There's going to be a day where a VR headset will be literally in everybody's hand, because maybe not like they carry it around like their cell phone, but they're going to have one because it's going to
Absolutely.
be a part of how our future is going to look. So we got a question a minute ago about products, specifically like if you're in the network marketing space, but I'm going to lump this into like a broader question, um, in the context of if you have a physical product, how
Mhm.
would you use this space? You could even look at it through the lens if you're trying to attract, going back to the network marketing space. They have two lanes, two avatars: a customer who's going to buy the products of the company, and then they have people who might be interested in the business. But from a product perspective, how would you use VR?
I'm going to answer that question. I am in a different screen real quick. Just bear with me. Let me come back to you. So what I was going to show you, if you want me to share my
Yeah,
screen,
absolutely.
are some of the spaces. And to answer that question, what I would do is I would set up a presentation walkthrough where your products are, imagine walking through an art gallery, okay, which you can set up in these type of environments. Instead of art on the wall, it would be the product history from inception to completion. It might be how your products are helping your clients and customers. And so you can take a client and walk through this hallway and share photos and videos and 3D images that are floating in front of you that your client can touch and rotate using their Oculus or other headset to help explain the value proposition of the products and services. So it's kind of interesting. You want me to try to share
Yeah, yeah,
like a
please.
2-minute video real quick? Okay,
Yeah.
what I'm going to share, because I don't know if the video audio is going to come through, is to answer those questions, Kim. As everyone's watching this, I'm going to show you some of the different Engage VR virtual reality conference rooms, and I'm going to switch over to spatial.io. When we get to the spatial.io art gallery, which is actually, Kim, my NFTs in an art gallery that took me about 2 minutes to set up. I linked my MetaMask wallet and my OpenSea account, which is where my NFTs are, to Spatial, and it created the gallery like this. Okay, it's amazing technology, everybody. I did that because when I'm representing creators, I want to know, start to finish, what the process is, so I can kind of walk them through it. So let me try to hit screen share, and let's see what happens. Hang on. Chrome tab, video, and let's see what happens here. Share. Can you still hear me, Kim?
Yeah, and I've got your screen pulled up.
All right, and you let me know. Can everyone see the video?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can you hear the audio? I'm just curious.
Yep.
You can. Okay. This is one of my favorite conference rooms because everything I display on the big screen is displayed on the laptop sitting in front of a client. We created our digital business cards in Canva so that we could share our contact information.
Very cool, right? Like,
yes.
that kind of gives you a vision of like, I'm a couple things I picked up of the different environments that you can insert into and host meetings. Or, I mean, think about it even, I mean, if you look at it through the lens of even like, I saw a couple of things, an office space where you could conduct, client meetings. I saw a classroom setting where you could, as an educator, teach your students in a unique environment. I saw a stage where you could be the speaker and you could have all these people, like a webinar style type of training. So incredible opportunities. I mean, that's just three quick things that I picked up off of that little video. Lots of amazing opportunities. Definitely going to go buy my Oculus this afternoon. I don't know about you guys, but
so Kim, in that first platform, and I have no affiliation with Engage. I haven't met anybody, talked to any owners. Okay, I just know a good thing when I see it. Same with spatial.io. I just showed you 3 or 4 spaces out of the 100+ templates that are available for free, right? And the same thing applies over in Spatial. So I think the limitations are simply with our own imaginations.
Yeah.
And
well, going back to like, what does this look like? Sometimes the thing that is fascinating to me when there's early adoption, opportunities. And in this case, I feel like there is so much creativity needed and or you need somebody to give you ideas to run with. Because I sometimes we can't think of things and as it relates to our own individual circumstances,
Right,
like,
right.
okay, like just like one of the questions was, well, how does this matter to my particular niche? Like, give me some ideas for me, you know? And so I think that is really fascinating. Like one of the things I discussed with Jessica was one of her clients is doing demos of their product. It's a
Exactly.
virtual demo, and that's super super smart. Think about this: if you're a real estate agent, like and showcasing properties and all kinds of crazy, amazing opportunities. I mean, you've heard of people buying houses sight unseen. Well, like
I'm getting excited.
it's
Is
exciting.
everybody, can everybody hear the excitement in Kim's voice? Yeah, I
Yeah,
can see your mind just going like, wait a minute.
yeah.
What we're talking about today and what I've just shown everybody, it's the tip of the iceberg.
Mhm.
Once you spend an hour in these different spaces, you're going to come up with so many new ways to build your brand, to sell your products, to share your services with your clients and customers. And one of the questions is, are these platforms membership based? It's like Zoom. You can open up a free account, you can pay for paid. If you're doing presentations, if you're a professional, I think some of the paid options are important because it allows you to bounce somebody from a room. It allows me to mute somebody that's heckling me from the audience. It allows me to control the environment of the room. That large conference room, Kim, you saw all the vendor booths,
Mhm,
right? And
mhm,
so with
mhm.
the paid platform, for example, you could put on a conference and you could lease out or rent each of those booths to somebody that wants to
Sponsors.
support your
You can have
what?
sponsors. You can have
Spons
sponsors,
sponsors. What an amazing concept. Anything you can
right?
do in real life, you can do in the metaverse. And that's what's kind of exciting. Couple NFTs with what we're talking about, non-fungible tokens. Think of them as tickets, right, to your event, which is
Yes.
what Joe Paluzzi and Brian Clark are
Mhm.
doing for their event in Phoenix, which by the way, they
Yes.
reached out to me to present at the
Yes, they
event.
should.
So I'm very
Absolutely.
excited about that. But
That's awesome.
what they're doing, everyone, is it's a digital ticket or token that allows you access to the event,
Mhm.
but it's also unlockable where there are other benefits and links and services and resources within this digital token, access to future events, access to
Yeah.
private videos. So you can couple that type of technology with the metaverse technology that we're talking about today, and then to do commerce within all of these platforms, if you're using Bitcoin, Ethereum, or some other digital currency. Because think about this: how do you do commerce in these platforms?
Mhm.
You got to use digital commerce.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's fascinating what you just shared. I don't know how many of you follow Gary Vaynerchuk, but Gary is always an early adopter of all things. Like he's always on it, right? So I don't know how long ago, but he came up with a virtual ticket to an event, an
Right.
NFT, sold it to people at a really low ticket price when it first was released. And inside of his contract, his blockchain contract or whatever, I'm probably not clearly articulating this, but
Smart contracts on the
yes, smart
blockchain.
contract on the blockchain. But part of that was that every time somebody resold their NFT ticket, then he would earn a 5%, resell tick on every time it was sold,
Right,
regardless of how
right.
many times it was sold. He ended up making millions of dollars off of this process. It's just a fascinating dynamic. Now, that's not always going to be the case because, like, how many people, but it could be, depending on how you set it up and how much more value people get if they have one of these NFT tickets or, it's just
Exactly.
it's a
Well,
fascinating
so
dynamic.
what everyone wants to take away, Kim, because we're coming to the top of the
Yep.
hour. The takeaway, everyone, is really take some time to get your hands dirty in the spaces that we call metaverses or microverses, in NFTs, blockchain technology, Web3, because all of this works together. And if it
Yes.
works together the right way for your business, you can provide a better customer client experience. You can offer digital services which are within these NFTs, whether a client has access to confidential law firm backdoor communication channels, or how to handle yourself in a deposition or as a witness at trial. All of these things we can put inside an NFT and offer to a client. And so it's not just marketing and branding, it's also what type of service can you provide to your clients or customers using all of this technology. And I think the companies, the individuals, the entrepreneurs, the creators that leverage this technology moving forward. And by the way, this is with 100% certainty. And I've been around the sun many times, Kim. 35 years of practicing law, 40 years in business. Everybody, I've been on tech since day one with everything we're talking about and have talked about. This, without any exception whatsoever, is the direction we're going, whether you like it or not. And I understand there's some pros and cons to, is this really a good thing? Well, it's here, it's happening. Get involved. I'm going to lay out in my book, and it should drop the second week of February, Kim. So thank you for offering that to your community. In fact, feel free to offer 5 more on me. Okay, I'm just going to put it out there for you. And so when it drops, we can add 5 more. And I just want everybody to have easy access and not be intimidated by this technology. When Zoom first, when the pandemic hit, I had lawyers calling me because they knew I was a tech lawyer. Hey, Mitch, what's this Zoom thing? Is it like a telephone call, right, over the internet? I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? So, because Kim and I have been on video and live video since 2012, 2013, whatever, live video, and back to Spreecast days for me, right, which was way back. But now those same lawyers are like experts on Zoom as far as putting trials on and sharing exhibits and bringing witnesses in from all over the world. And they're good at it, right? Yeah. It's not that hard. You just have to put in an hour or two. Same thing with what we've talked about today. Put in a couple of hours, have fun with it. Don't make your first effort in the metaverse one that is going to have 500 people in your audience. Okay. Join some of my casual weekly meetups and just kind of join us and ask questions and make your mistakes with me. And we can all have fun together. And frankly, we can circle back in a year, Kim. Maybe we'll do the next show a year from now from the metaverse.
Yes. So I'm definitely going to jump into this. I'm super excited about it. So you guys I'll probably invite some, I'll do my own thing here soon, and we'll invite everybody to kind of explore with us. But more importantly, because I know we're on a time crunch here, tell everybody where would be the best way for them to connect with you, Mitch.
Well, the best place to connect with me is probably over at streaming, like live streaming.lawyer. We have metaverselawyer.io that redirects over to that site. I have a text community. I use Community, Kim, and I have a really large global text community. It's 949-577-7456 if people want to connect with me there. But I'm all over the place. Just ping me, or if you're in the metaverse, on your Oculus, search for Mitch Jackson within Oculus, connect with me, and then we can take each other by the digital hand. We can walk into a couple of different spaces together and see why Kim and I are so excited about the metaverse.
Yes, I'm super excited. Thank you, Mitch. Thanks all of you who joined us live or watching or listening on the replay. I think everybody will agree 100%. This has been mind-blowing. Hopefully at a baseline level, it's got you intrigued, and you can go, like Mitch said, and start to see how this is going to make sense for you. Play around with it. I mean, that's what we've got to do. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to go order my headset this afternoon. I'm going to get it in hand, and I'm going to join Mitch initially. He'll be my first friend on these spaces, and I'm going to figure it out. All right. So,
all right, everyone.
Hope you'll take care. Have a great day. Stay safe. God bless.